You ever get a chance to sit that mid semester, or you just
No,
moved on without that?
I miss both mid semesters because
Unaffordable tuition, housing scam, and disappointments were meant to break her, but the soon-to-be UA graduate's story doesn't end. Resourcefulness and good Samaritans are interwoven in her journey.
So you mentioned it's $280 something thousand dollars. I think Shanecia had asked you if it's inclusive of miscellaneous fees.
Miscellaneous.
It is. Okay.
yes, it's
All right.
inclusive of
No problem. But you mentioned that you don't know anything about Kingston when you got started. I know that you're from Westmoreland. It means going to Kingston would mean that you would have to find somewhere to stay, right? Boarding fee is not tuition, but certainly you'll have to stay somewhere in order to go to classes. What
Definitely.
you board on hall, if I'm correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was that boarding fee like per year as well?
Okay. So at first, I didn't intend to stay on hall. I didn't know that they had. Well, I know that they had for halls. When you apply, they would ask about halls and all of that. But I didn't intend to stay on hall because I had assumed it would have been more expensive. I didn't know anybody in Kingston like that to ask.
Did you just say more expensive?
I assumed it was.
Okay.
In comparison to commuting. So I messaged some persons to find out about off-campus living, and I saw some on the internet. However, I was supposed to have a down payment to pay $20,000 per month for rent, and I had some financial issues before. However, I still went to Kingston, but only to find out that the place I was supposed to stay off campus was a scam.
Was that what? So I didn't hear that. It was a
scam. So I ended up having to rent on campus because when I went to Kingston, I would have to apply for housing off campus earlier because it's a rush of first year students coming in, they're renting off campus, not much space for me to live. So that's how I ended up going on hall. That's when I knew the cost of living on hall as well. Probably I should have done more research.
So what is that cost? What is that cost?
The Rex Network Hall is the hall that accepted me, and to live on the hall is like $260,000 for the academic year. So you pay like 114 for this semester, and then the other 100 and mash for the next semester. But
so that means
have to pay a percentage before you could go on the hall.
So what? Okay, so you're paying $263,000 per semester, per year. I'm sorry, for the boarding, and you're paying $280 per year for tuition. No, that is almost $500,000 Jamaican dollars.
So was there any point in time did you had to decide which one took priority, whether the tuition or the boarding fee?
Okay. Yes, there were points in time, but the 260 plus or 240 plus is for the Rex Network Hall. Each hall have a different fee. So that would just be for Rex Network Hall, just to clarify. There are more halls that are more expensive. They're more expensive halls. Yes.
Okay. So was that the cheapest hall based on your knowledge?
No, because it's a single room, so we had to pay more. But that's the only hall that was accepting. Because I heard that Mary C. Cole would have been suitable and much cheaper. But when I went to apply, they were like, there's a waiting list for the waiting list. So at that time, I didn't have anywhere to stay. It was short notice and all of that.
Yeah.
I just had to.
They kind of had to go with that. Okay. Yes. And I mean, I can understand the benefit also of living by yourself in a sense, right? Yes, Shuga, you're saying something.
She asked about prioritizing between both. I had to prioritize at times. All right, so doing exams or mid-semester or finals, you had to pay up a certain amount of your tuition, else you won't. Being on a installment plan, you had to, else the university wouldn't allow you to do an exam, to sit an exam if you were owing. So I had to prioritize tuition instead of hall most of the times. But they wouldn't penalize you as much for owing hall fee in comparison to tuition. But if it comes to the end of the academic year and you have your finals, then you'll probably have to pay both, or you could probably hold a hall fee, depending on your credit note.
To my knowledge, as it relates to hall fees, you just said something along the lines of what I am aware of, that as long as you have probably about 25% down on the hall fee, that they won't necessarily stress you for the remaining. Okay, definitely. Awesome.
But at each time it changes, so you have to try and keep up to date. And I had to go to the SAS and swipe my ID to find out if I'm clear to do an exam. So it depends at times. Because I know I could be owing tuition and hall fee most of the times.
Okay. All right. Okay, Shanecia. So basically, there were tighter measures, or they were stricter as it relates to getting tuition fees paid versus hall fees. So the tuition fee took precedence. All right. I understand that. You mentioned, we spoke about boarding a little earlier. Given that COVID came in, I know that you spent about 1.25 of a year, an academic year, at home, so you no longer had to board. I know you loved your boarding life and all that it came with. But did you, given the expense, was there ever a moment that you rejoiced having had to pay that kind of money, $250,000 basically? Did you rejoice, given that you had to stay home in a sense, in any way?
Kinda. Read the money aspect. Yes, but I also love the whole life. So I know that. I just wanted to know if having the fact that you didn't have to pay $200 and something thousand, kind of made you rejoice in some way or another, because you never. So right there, I guess we can give COVID a little tap, on the shoulder. That's the only thing it has done so far for you. All right. So you got started. Tell us about how you paid your first set of fees. The very, very first tuition fee that you had to pay. How did you manage to do that with zero in your bank account? Okay. No money. So when I intended to travel to the University of the West Indies, to Kingston, there were some financial issues, and all of my money was lost. So I had to borrow $20,000 from a friend to do the down payment. You said you lost all of your money? Yes. Okay. Wow. It was stolen. So how much money is that are you referring to? Well, at the time I was working, I had over $60,000. That's all I had.
Installment.
Repeat for me?
So that would have been like your first installment, your first payment to the UE. Okay. Oh, and you lost all of that. It was stolen.
Yes. So I had to borrow $20,000, and that's what I wanted to use to pay for the down payment on hall. Because even then, not hall, for housing, and I was like, I have a bit of food, I can survive on that until I find another way to finance myself, So I wasn't quite worried about that in a sense. After that, I was in Kingston getting on hall. I realized that I had to pay a percentage of the hall fee before. So I had to stay with this lady because I didn't have anywhere to stay after the scam.
You said this lady. Scam. Is it that you're not related or you didn't know her prior?
I didn't know her. It was a friend of a friend of my stepmother. So I stayed with her. You had a good Samaritan lending a hand there. Yes. Okay. And good. When I went on hall, she took me to campus and sorted out hall living for me. And I had to pay the first 114,000, was it? And she paid the 114,000 so I could go on her thing.
Okay, that's good.
And I was shocked because I was like, this lady didn't even know me. I didn't even know this lady because even the first night I stepped at
was it
her
like
house.
a loan, or did she just give that to you?
She just said to me, I am just going to pay the money for you to go on her. And I found it really surprising. And then I just used, at that point, I just used the 20,000 that I had for the down payment to pay the miscellaneous fees.
Okay.
And then after that, I was broke.
You were broke again. All right, you're broke again. And we applaud persons who lend us a hand when we need it. Right?
Add a bit more to you? That was my first night on hall. I had a few snacks and stuff because I was staying there. Yeah. But then she said she's going to get some things and come back. This lady went ahead. She bought a case of water. She bought some food. She bought some pots and pans. And then she brought them back to me and hall. She said, I'll come back and check on you tomorrow. And then the next day she bought more food. And I was like, God good enough, because I don't know what was going to happen. Very much.
I'm happy you got the help. I hope you keep in touch with her, or even every now and then you say hello, you know. Just remember where you're coming from and show gratitude. That is very important. But you mentioned the boarding fee, but how did you pay? You got the assistance from her to start off your boarding fee. But what about the tuition? How did you start that first set of payment, the first tuition money you paid? How did you pay, given that you were broke again after paying that miscellaneous fee?
Okay, so after the miscellaneous fees, coming down, you know, we had mid-semesters and you had to pay a percentage of the tuition so you could do mid-semesters. Okay, so at first I had a savings fund that I was saving in the summer, before the summer. So I had to break my savings. It was a lot of silver. Brought them to high-low, change them out, and you used to have like parties every other day. It's Yui. So I used that savings and I bought some early bird party tickets, because like early bird tickets cost like $600 or $800, but on the night of the event you pay like more for it. So I used to buy the early bird tickets and then like sell the early bird tickets at the gates at the night, but I would sell it for more, you know, just not the amount it would cost to go in. So
you had to be resourceful then. So you bought the tickets for like $600, $800. You bought them early, got the early bird special at a discounted price, and then you were able to see a profit by increasing the price on the day of the event at the gate. And I have to commend that thought there, you know, to get you through. And you said that's how you managed to pay your first set of fees to do your mid-semester for first semester. Okay. All right, that's good. So what were the other things you did? I know that you have a business. What role did that play? You have a bead business. What role did that play in assisting with tuition?
Okay,
so she's the owner. She's the owner of Shan's Jewelry. Am I correct? You can correct
Shan's Jewelry. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So with the beads business, I would sell beads on hall. However, it was kind of banned in a sense. But whenever Rex 24 Hall would have events, my RA, my resident advisor, as well as the hall, the SSDM, they would reach out to me and they would be like, there's an event happening at the MPR tonight. If you want to come, and they provide a table, and I would sell my jewelries at the MPR. Big up to Ashagi and Miss Dana Jackson. You know, it was really beneficial towards me. And whenever Irving Hall or there would be any other events at Humanities or on campus, I would visit and sell my jewelry there.
All right, so you sold these, were you finished?
I was just about to talk about like other methods that I use to finance.
All right, we'll give Shuga a chance to ask, and then we get back to those.
You sold these jewelry like to aid, but were there ever a point at all where the monies gain could not suffice, and then you had problems like doing exam, or how close were you? Have you ever been prevented, or it seems as if you weren't able to do an exam because of lack of funds?
Yes. One semester, I think it was in my second semester, I didn't know that we had to like check our IDs beforehand, and I had statistics mid-semester. I didn't pay for as much. I reached out to my MP and my counselor. They had said yes, you know, I was awaiting that assistance. However, it didn't come through, so I didn't get to do my mid-semester. What happened was the tent, the famous tent. I went to the tent to do my mid-semester. We have to swipe our IDs to see that we're financially clear. I just heard a beep beep and a red light, and they were like, "Oh, you're not clear." There was a long line, and I felt so embarrassed. But everybody see me going into the exam, not being financially clear, you know. So I had to run over to SAS, try to get clearance to go into the exam. But it was a mid semester, so it's normally like an hour or like hour and 45 minutes. So by the time I would have got through, the exam would have finished. So I went to the lecture about it. I explained my situation. She was saying if she's going to give me a second chance, she would have to give everybody who missed the exam. So I was like, I didn't miss the exam just because I wasn't financially cleared, and it didn't go as planned. And then she was like, it's your responsibility to know that you should have checked to see if you're financially cleared and all of that. And to be honest, I'm probably biased, but I kind of gave up on the lecture after that.
So did you ever get a chance to sit that mid-semester, or you just moved on?
I missed both mid-semesters because I wasn't financially clear. And then I had to put my all in the finals. I barely scraped through to pass that exam.
Oh my gosh. Well, you passed, and that's a good thing.
That's the good thing.
We face obstacles all the time.
All over again.
Yeah, we don't get the help we need. Sometimes we reach out to different persons, and for whatever reasons, they did not lend a hand, or they were not able to lend a hand. And I'm happy that you pulled through. It may not have been the grade you wanted, but you got through. And sometimes you just have to, sit back and just be grateful for having pulled through. Whether we pulled through the way we wanted or not, at least we pulled through. I've had a moment similar to that of my own, of pulling through. But you've been strong. You've been relentless.
Venturing into a number
absolutely admire it.
Also.
Yeah, you've been really, really good at persevering. So